This is Future Phenoms, tracking football's rising stars. I'm Andy. I'm joined by Nino Brown and Romero. We have a jam-packed episode that we'll break down after the intro. SC, Nino, what's going on, guys?
Let's go!
Yeah, what's good, man? You know what it is. Only thing we're looking forward to in the week is Future Phenoms, what my wife's cooking for dinner. And tonight it is Mexican pizzas, better than Taco Bell, man. So we good in it.
Let's go.
And we got a spicy episode tonight with a couple of topics that I put up on the show sheet. So let's get right to it. Names to watch for the 2024 college football season. SC, you're up first with this first guy. You better
Yes,
pretty
sir.
good.
No, so I'm gonna go quarterback real quick. We're gonna go with Middle Tennessee's quarterback Nicholas Vaciado. Guy finally saw a healthy season, right? And so in this season, he saw over 3,000 passing yards, over 400 rushing yards. He had a great season. His problem is he hasn't been durable, and that's what's knocked him. But I think he has some upside to him. Downfall, he did turn the ball over a little bit, but that could just be the what's the word, the getting back into the rhythm, right, of his whole thing with being injured in the past and getting back. So I want to see that come down because that's going to hurt him, of course. But I think there's a lot of things to look at. You know, he looked great in a healthy season, and who knows, he could, go below 10 turnovers this next season and really ball out.
Yeah, this dude was a fantasy CFF gem, dude. Like down the stretch, multiple weeks I plug and play this guy and he put up numbers. I mean, his running game, just his mobility alone is just a guy you want to look at. Hey, and who knows, his game can translate to the NFL. I'm not saying this kid's going in the top 3 rounds, but there's a chance, possibly, sneak in there. Listen, if John Rhymes Plumlee, I love him. If he gets a little bit of buzz, I think our guy Nick here can get a little bit of buzz. I like his game. He's like the dual threat. So let's go with it.
Yeah, great asset in CFF.
Are you guys afraid of the coaching staff change with the new coach coming in, new system coming in, that they might run the ball more?
A little bit, and Elijah Metcalf is gone too, so that's like a huge loss. He was the big receiver for them, so we'll have to see.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I think, again, I just think he showed up the upside that we wanted to see finally from him. So they may just go and say, hey, it is your team. Because I feel prior to that, it was never his team. But now showing a healthy season, he's like, I'm taking what's mine because it's his to lose.
Nino, who's your first guy?
I'm going to go with a guy out of Duke, right? I'm going to go with a guy by the name of Jontavius Robinson, 5'11", 190. I mean, I'm talking about a guy that has pretty much a clean shape. He only had 7 targets last year, 4 receptions for 36 yards. He was kind of trapped behind Jordan Moore. There were other receivers on the team that have all hit the portal. The running back hit the portal, Jordan Water. So, like, there's open space. Got a new QB now. So, Riley Leonard's gone. He went to Notre Dame. Malik Murphy's the guy. Loftus is also the backup there. And he was pretty good, last couple of games for the Blue Devils. You're already seeing Robinson ball out in spring camp. He's making all kinds of athletic catches, one-handed. And that's something that he's got, right? He's a former 3-star. In high school, he put up 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns, almost on 70 receptions, right? He's got good speed, good body control, excellent footwork. He's a special teamer. The dude's got great vision, finds the lane. So I think, with a new QB, wants to make a name for himself, wants to go out there and throw the ball around and chuck it. He's going to need a guy that he's got to get comfortable with, the guy that he adjusts to. And it seems right now that Jontavius seems to be Malik Murphy's dude. The speed that he's got, the way he can kind of be that short intermediate guy if necessary, and then, make a house call. I think we're going to start hearing a lot of Jontavius' name this year.
First thing I say about Jontavius Robertson is Malik Murphy needs a favorite target, right? And so when I'm watching this tape, and I need to say this lightly for the trolls and stuff, but the way he catches the ball reminds me of Calvin Johnson. Like, he catches with authority, he catches with strength, and the ball is his. He's not built like Calvin, he's not running like Calvin, so don't get my words twisted up. But the way he catches the ball, it's just like a strong man's catch. Like, if the ball's in his hands, it's his, and no one's taking it from him. And that's something that I don't know what the yards after the catch will be. I don't know what he's going to be doing once the ball's in his hands, but I know he's going to come down with it. And going back to my first statement, Malik Murphy needs a favorite target. He needs someone that he relies on. And I think John Tavius can be that guy just with his finesse and ball control once it's in the air and once he sees it go to his hands.
Yeah, that's a good call. SC, who's your next guy?
Yeah, so before we go to our IDP, I want to talk about Oregon running back. On my show, with the CFB Nation, I talked about Jay Harris, who they just got, through the transfer portal. But this season, it's Jordan James season. This guy's 5'10", 205. He averaged 7.1 yards per carry with Bucky Irving last season. Now the backfield is his. He may do some split time. That's just how Oregon runs it. But now we're going to see what exactly he can do because he's not the second fiddle anymore. It's his job. He's going out there. This guy knows how to move, and we're going to see him do some great things with Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel wasn't as mobile to me as Bo Nix was. So you could argue that took away a little bit of opportunities from Bucky and Jordan last year. But now, again, Jordan season, man. Jordan James out of Oregon. That's one of my guys this year.
I went dude. Speed, physicality, runs violently. Like he loves that contact, and you ain't taking him down with arm tackles. And this is the guy that it would have been if he had stayed healthy. The perfect piece. To Bucky Irving. Like he was the complement perfect. And I think now him and Noah Whittington are going to be that 1-2 combination because he's going to be that bulk, and you're going to have Noah Whittington to be that slashing type. Back. I love everything about him. I think Oregon's needed a guy like this for a little bit. They haven't really had that bruiser with the speed for a little while. So I'm with it.
Agreed.
Yeah, and Nino, who's your next guy?
I feel like this episode for me is like, what's that show when they're looking for the searching for the missing guys, the guys who haven't shown up. This is gonna be my guy. I went deep sea fishing for these guys. Deuce Hogan, okay. QB, New Mexico State. I'm talking about a dude, kind of reminds me like Spencer Rattler, right? He was on the QB1 show on Netflix, and he just never panned out, right? He went to Iowa, had to transfer, didn't see any action, went to Kentucky. Last season, sat behind Devin Leary again, didn't see any action. 6'4", 212. But listen, Tim Beck runs a beautiful QB-friendly system, okay? He likes to have that mobile QB. It's kind of like an open quarterback room. They only have Nunez who transferred in from Fullerton. If I had to guess, in my opinion, I'm probably going to go with the kid that's got, the more talent per se by the rankings. The kid who had a show after him, the kid who's got the status. And from what I'm hearing, this kid's kind of finally showing up in spring, and he's battling out there. He's got a big arm, right? I don't know if he's as mobile as Nunez is, but he's mobile enough to make throws off platform. I think this kid could have a where did he come from type year. There's nothing in front of him that's stopping him but himself. And like I said, Tim Beck runs a QB-friendly offense. And you're talking about a bare-bones offense now that's trying to find an identity. I think this is going to be Deuce Hogan and New Mexico State's both find an identity at once this year.
Yeah, coming out, he was a 4-star prospect, and as you mentioned, just one of those top guys. And Iowa, he left because the coach ended up saying something, right, in like an interview or something, said something about.
This is what he said. He said, if I had to, both of the QBs were hurt right in front of him. If I had to play Deuce Hogan, I probably would have stayed home at Iowa City.
Yeah.
What, bro?
And like he even came out after like, I was joking and stuff like that. But it's like, bro, you can't talk about your third string like that. You don't have that relationship with them, right? They're not your starting guys. So glad that he's moving on. You sometimes you need that fresh environment to have a great opportunity. He had an offer from Georgia, stuck with Iowa, and they were loyal to him because of injuries and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, you can't say that he didn't choose Georgia because he wanted to go to you, and then you're gonna come out with that. So I hope he balls out and just kind of sticks it to him.
SC, who's your final guy?
Man, so I love IDP, and this one's interesting because when you think of the name Fitzgerald, if I say that name, you're probably thinking of a wide receiver. You're probably thinking of a guy that's a Hall of Fame guy at the next level. But this guy's Paul Fitzgerald, defensive end from Utah State, 6'3", 240. This guy moves with power. doesn't need that explosive off the edge. He moves with his hands and he bullies all his blockers. He reminds me in the sense of like a Jonah Ellis that we saw at Utah, not as explosive, but he's going to get there. He's a redshirt freshman, right? So he has this opportunity. He had 8 sacks last season in his first full season and 1 forced fumble. This is a guy I'm excited to see because I think he's going to benefit and lead this Utah State team, just as you saw Ellis kind of did for the Utah defense. He's going to be that anchor for that defense and really be the pillar moving forward just by boom, 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 hitting these guys where it hurts.
Andy, this is all you. I don't. There's no words I can say that you would say everything better because this is your team. So go ahead.
Paul Fitzgerald has the chance to go down as the greatest Utah State defensive end in history when his time is up in Logan. This kid, he was initially committed to BYU. He committed to them after a camp. He went there, committed, didn't feel right. Utah State kept after him, kept recruiting him, got him to Logan for a visit. Fitzgerald said he felt at home at Utah State in Logan. He decommitted from BYU. He went to Utah State. This guy did everything on that defense. That was a very porous defense, a very poor run defense. And he had over 8 sacks in his first year of play. This defense with a new defensive coordinator, new defensive coaching staff, they should focus their play around him and try to utilize his skill set. And so at the end of the day, if Utah State's going to get better on defense, he's the key.
I was trying to look at how many tackles. He had quite a few tackles too. I believe it was I feel like it was 40. I mean, don't quote me.
Yeah, he
on
had
that.
I think it was 46 or something like that.
Yeah, so
and I think he had 10 tackles for loss as well. I'm just thinking off the top of my head.
Yeah, he gets behind, effectively. Like I said, I want to see a little bit more explosive. I saw more strength and I saw explosiveness when you see his tape. But again, the sky's the limit for him. I mean, this is as in a sense his freshman year, right? And he went out there and balled. So I'm excited to see what he can do.
And I do have a written piece on him that comes out later in April, and then later on in the summer, something else in the works. Nino, who's your last guy that you want to talk about?
Well, talk about a guy that, when opportunity knocks, I have a funny feeling he's going to be a doggy at the door, ready to answer. He was hungry. He transferred over last year from Weber State, and he had, he averaged 6 yards per carry and had 800 yards. But when he transferred over to Eastern Michigan, he had to sit behind a veteran grad in Samson Evans, who unfortunately didn't produce what he did the season before. So I'm talking about Dante McMillan from Eastern Michigan. They were putrid last year. And I know Sean Coughlin runs a good offense. They do like to ground and pound out there in Eastern Michigan. But there was a lot of injuries. Offensive line was kind of new. They only had 600 yards for their lead back, and that was Samson Evans. Dante only had 32, only had 11 attempts, but Samson's gone. And the gentleman behind him hit the portal. And now it's pretty much follow the yellow brick road for my guy, Dante McMillan. Like I said, he's handled the rock for 134 attempts when he was at Weber State. He's explosive coming out of the line, right? I want to say he's violent, but he has very good use of a stiff arm. He can get away from tackles. He's good contact balance. And I think in a conference where, you get a good running back that can pinball off things or off defenders, you got a guy that can produce weekly. And you know how it is in this conference. They have backs that just put up numbers. Samson Evans, he's never going to the NFL. You got a guy that almost put up 1,000 yards. I think he did put up 1,000 yards the season before. So this guy's got more juice in him, a little bit more spark to him. And if you get him to the outside, he can kind of take it away. He doesn't have top end speed. Don't get me wrong, but he can kind of pull away. So I think, like I said, opportunity knocks, and I think Dante McMillan is going to be a guy you're going to be hearing a lot about this year.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be all systems go after his Weber State year, right? That was his top year, and then, like you said, he had to sit behind. So this is great for him to showcase, look, I do got that juice. His acceleration is second to none. He hits that hole. What I mean? It's the top speed, like you just mentioned, that he needs to work on because you can't catch up to him. But those first 5 to 10 yards, he's gone because he has the vision too, and he could break through and bounce off your guys as well. So I like what I see, and he's someone to watch out for in your CFF leagues.
Those are some names to know and write down for your CFF, C2C, and IDP leagues. Now we're on to our next segment, this or that. We'll be looking at a 2023 NFL rookie versus a 2024 NFL rookie. The first matchup, Michael Mayer versus Jatavian Sanders. SC, you're up first.
So I had to take Mayer here. Overall, I think Mayer is the better tight end. He's going to see the field more just a better blocker than what Jatavian Sanders is. If we were talking based on pure athleticism, excuse me, I think Jatavian Sanders is the guy you want to go with. I mean, I love Darnell Washington coming out, but Michael Mayer, I think he was, in a sense, under the radar. I mean, Laporta had a great season last season, but I still think Michael Mayer has the opportunity to be one of your top tight ends, and we're going to see him a little bit more this season, potentially a breakout season for him. So I go with Michael Mayer here.
Hey, I was disappointed. Both of these this or that questions was like, I looked at him, I'm like, it's just easy because we want to throw around that stupid word, generational, right? I'm pretty sure Michael Mayer was the generational tight end before Brock Bowers, right? He was the darling of college football. Ooh, the Notre Dame tight end. He makes all the crazy catches, one-handed behind guys, dives, he can block. Oh, he's so great. And then Brock Bowers went off and we forgot about Michael Mayer. But Michael Mayer went to a shitbox destination, okay? Now, granted, Pierce is the head coach and everything started coming along. They didn't have a QB. Jimmy G didn't want to be there. Aiden O'Connell just happened to fall into a role. Who knows? He could be the guy now by just falling into it. But he had a connection with Michael Mayer down the stretch. The last 6 games, my guy was talking like, I want to say like almost 20 times. I think he had like 12 catches. Majority of his catches and yards came in those last couple of games. He had 5 receptions in the last game for 40-something yards. Like the numbers weren't great, but if you look at it as his body of work, or when he became a weapon in the offense, he was useful. And don't get me wrong, Zamir White likes this guy because he knows how to block. I mean, Zamir White don't think he needs any blocking this year. His arm's going to block everybody in the world coming out of that hole. But I think Michael Mayer, for this case, everybody says, "Oh, Sanders, he's so athletic." I think Michael Mayer is actually more athletic. If you remember some of the catches he made in Notre Dame, I'm talking diving, one hand around defenders, making those catches. I understand Sanders. People say, "Well, Quinn Ewers couldn't throw the ball. I thought he's going to pass." Who did Michael Mayer have? You want to remind me who he had for 3 seasons, please? That was so great. That was better than Quinn Ewers. Exactly. I'm gonna go Michael Mayer here. He's the guy, and I think next year you're gonna see him probably jump into, like, if not bottom end of the top 10 tight ends, like 11 12.
Early in the season, Sanders was my tight end too, but I mean, he's dropped, drastically. He could be tight end 4, tight end 5 of this class, so we'll see though.
I'm running out of rookies to talk about. The 2023 class, like I'm kind of limited with what I have left, so I'm kind of stuck here. Next matchup, Parker Washington versus Malik Washington. Nino, you're up first.
Malik Washington every day of the week, twice on Saturday, 3 times on Sunday. I mean, it's just, I understand Parker Washington played in the Big Ten. Cool. So he faced better defenses, probably faced better, DBs. I mean, Malik Washington cooked. Oh yeah, he had the most targets in the whole country. He had the most receptions in the whole country. He's a bulkier, kind of like better-handed Tank Dell. He can do anything. You can put him anywhere you want. He eats in the slot. He can work outside. Like I said, he had another guy on the outside in Malachi Fields, who is my guy, and Andy knows that, who had 100 targets and 83 receptions, and my dude still led the nation with shit. Let me rephrase that. Shit quarterback play. Okay? Like, one was a freshman who once he started to get it going, they pulled him out for a musket who's going to be bagging groceries in about a year from now. So it's like, this kid is him. This kid is going to be a dog in the NFL. Parker Washington's going to get his opportunity this year because Ridley's gone. We're going to see. I'm willing to bet that Malik Washington has a better year than Parker Washington.
Man, I really wish I could choose Parker Washington too. I think he was great coming out. He had great hands. He seemed like a reliable target, but I just don't see it. I'm gonna take the yak monster and Malik Washington over him. I just think this guy's gonna do more. than he would. And the difference may be that he may be buried on a depth chart when it comes out, so that'll be hard. But Parker Washington actually was too, and he got his opportunity due to injuries. That's when he finally started coming on. So with that, based on the talent alone, I think Malik Washington has more upside based on what he does after the catch. If we want to talk hands, maybe Parker Washington's the better reliable receiver, but I think I take Malik Washington. If you're putting these two straight in my face, I'm going Malik.
I think Parker Washington maybe can go over the middle and take a bigger hit. That's about all I think he could do.
Yeah, but he's like he's smaller, but like we've seen Zay Flowers is smart, but Zay Flowers plays big. Parker Washington doesn't really do that to me, so that's where it's like there's a huge difference. Yeah. So and that's where a huge difference may come in at that next level when every defender you're playing is a bigger defender. So it's like taking those hits and just absorbing or even avoiding them. And I think Malik Washington would be better with that.
Everyone loves Malachi Fields at Virginia next year.
All of a sudden, right?
Chris Tyree.
I've been talking about Malachi Fields for like literally since week 5 when he caught a end of the clock half touchdown against Boston College. I'm like, dude looks like a tight end out there. I've been watching. All of a sudden now, everybody loves Malachi Fields.
I'm on Chris Tyree. That was our this or that segment. Let's get into our next one. 5 statements with Nino and SC. Statement number 1. Houston's running back Parker Jenkins will run for 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns by the end of the 2024 season. SC, you're up first.
Man, hell no, I don't think so. Donovan Smith is still the quarterback, right? He's still there at Houston, if I'm not mistaken.
He's hurt.
Oh, he's hurt right now?
Zeno Christ.
Going into the season?
Yeah, he's probably going to miss like 4. They're saying probably the first four games.
Okay, well, see, I was not aware about that. But at the same time, so we had your guy, Parker Jenkins, come in as a freshman and take over Stacey Sneed, right? As Stacey Sneed was compared to be the guy. Well, now they have another guy that just committed. He decommitted from Auburn and Jamarian Burnett. And this kid's 6'2", 220, all unverified, of course, because we know they high school, college like to stray the lines there a little bit. But I think this guy is the one to watch out for when it comes to running backs. I think no one's going to be necessarily the lead back. I think they're going to play with multiple positions there. But Burnett, I think, is the guy. He can get all yards and chunks. He knows how to break. He has good size. He has good strength. He has the speed to just be a vertical runner down the field. I like him personally over Parker Jenkins.
I think Parker Jenkins is going to be the RB1 for the team. Okay. Maybe not, because Christ could be this guy. Zion is going to eat. The reason why I say no is because Zion's going to eat into both of those categories. He is such a mobile dude. He's a big body QB who is going to take off run with the ball. And I've read multiple things that they wanted to keep Donovan Smith home more this year, develop him more as a passer than more of a runner. So obviously, the injury doesn't help that. Zion's going to go and be a thorn in the side of Parker. I do believe he'll be RB1. I'm going to go with 800 yards, probably around like 6 touchdowns. That's my pull on him.
Statement number 2. Quinn Ewers is a top 10 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Nino, you're up first.
Fuck yeah. Fucking kidding me, dude? Tell me somebody, if you could tell, I want you right now, and you all know that there's going to probably be at least 4 teams next year, right, that are going to need a quarterback. Even if it's only 3. Name me 8 better overall players right now. I'll give you Evan Stewart. I'll give you Perkins from LSU, right? I'll give you maybe Pierce, James Pierce, if he comes out from Tennessee.
Will Johnson.
Okay. The fact that we're taking this long makes it very easy.
Yeah.
I saw it.
No, yeah, Perkins is great. I mean,
you gotta help me out with defense.
No, I mean, you guys say who's coming and on what teams.
I'm pulling up my rankings. Hold on.
You gotta go and see what teams are there too, right? Because you could have teams that don't necessarily need defensive sides. So
okay.
Good.
I got Evan Stewart. Evan Stewart, Ted McMillan.
Ooh, I don't know if he's coming out.
Oh, that's such a hard one
Carson
because you probably have to
Beck.
put Brother before him.
I don't like it.
It's hard to find. I'm
quarterbacks.
telling you, bro.
Garrett
I'm telling you.
Nussmeier, just because I'm biased.
Oh, here we go.
Nuss
So
could
those,
sit though. Nuss could wait another year if he's
those
not
are
top, right?
4 offensive guys. I don't know if there were 6 defensive guys. SC, you know more about defense than me. I got Will Johnson.
No.
That's it.
No, I mean he hit 2 on the money too with James Pierce and Harold Perkins
Yeah.
as well. Those are 2 tough guys.
There's probably like 3 or 4 offensive linemen that will be in the top 10. There's always 3 or 4.
We'll talk about where we got QB ranks, but I have him in my top 3. So for me, I have, and he's not 3. Okay, so to me, that's a top 10 pick next year.
I think for me he is 3, but that's behind Shadir and Gabriel. Those are 2 of my guys, so it's like let's do it. So that's but I say yes too. Top 10. I mean, I think this guy is going
We need to have a quarterback ranking dispute right now. Off the topic, we're going in hot. SC, who's your top 3 quarterback for the 25 class?
Let me pull it up 1 second.
I'll give you mine. It's
Dylan
Wegman.
Gabriel.
Hey, ready?
Oh yeah, bro. That's gonna be
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, yo, he's being biased. I got Wegman, then I got Ewers, and then I got Jackson Dot.
My top 3. Go ahead, SC.
I would say actually I have him as 4 because I have Beck ahead of Ewers. So I have Sanders, Gabriel, Beck, and Ewers. Yeah, I mean you say bias you up. I think Ewers gonna go out there and ball. We saw what Bo Nix did. I think Ewers gonna be something. He's not as mobile, so I think they're gonna focus on him passing it. So I think we're gonna see a big year from him. It's gonna skyrocket.
My 25 class, I got Nuss, Beck, and I have Wegman 3rd. I don't like that.
I have Nuss as 26. And you 26 too?
I got Wegman 1. That's my guy.
No, I'm not even 1, 2.
Wait, please tell me he's not even in your top 7.
No, I have Milroe and Dart over him.
Yeah, Milroe?
Yeah.
Wait.
I'm done.
Wait.
No, above Wegman.
What? Wait, what? Okay. This episode was supposed to be spicy before. It's getting extra spicy because I didn't know this was going to go this way. We are talking quarterback rankings for the 2025 class. The 5 statements with Nino and SC has taken a pause because we are getting spicy up in here. SC, where do you have Jalen Milroe in your rankings?
Without QB6.
Overall?
That's why I have
in the state of
Shador.
Alabama?
For 25.
That's why I have Shador 6.
I have Shador as well. We'll talk about Shador in a little bit. But
Jalen Milroe is. I'm scrolling down. Hold on.
I think he's like 9, maybe 10.
So for the 25 class by itself, I have.
Wow. I'm at a loss for words right now.
He's my QB 9 for the 25 class.
I said 9, yeah. Probably going to fall out of that if he stays at Alabama.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We'll see what the season does. I know, but I think he's still a talented guy, so we'll see.
And then you have Dylan Gabriel at quarterback what for the 25 class?
I have that too.
Quarterback 2 for the 25 class?
Oh, yeah, bro. I think he's about to explode this year.
I have him as quarterback 36 overall.
Hey, and this
overall.
Yeah,
hey, this
36 overall.
I have Curtis Rock ahead of Dylan Gabriel. And I
don't hate that.
But that's just me.
Good, bro. Wow. New system, new offense. What, wide receiver 1 in the nation? We're about to see some feasting going on.
Was he playing in like the MAC with like 3-star wide receivers last year?
Oh no. And he looked good last year too, did he not?
I mean,
didn't look like he'll be 1.
I mean, we're
Oh,
talking
I
about
like
Dylan
QB1.
Gabriel, right? The
Oh,
guy
yeah.
that started off at UCF
UCF,
and then
yeah.
went to Oklahoma, and then Oklahoma said, "Get your ass out the door. We got a better quarterback. You move somewhere else. We don't give a damn." That Dylan Gabriel,
And where did he move to?
the guy that's like what 5'11", 190 pounds, soaking wet at the real NFL Combine, who can't throw a deep pass. That Dylan Gabriel, the Dylan Gabriel that can only read his first read,
Hot
and
route?
that's it.
The
Dylan
hot route?
Gabriel. Are we talking about
bro,
that Dylan Gabriel?
We're talking about an Oregon offense that evolves their quarterbacks.
He's still
Yeah,
gonna
but-
still one
yeah,
hot
but-
route. Evan Stewart.
Yeah, and then we're also talking about NFL traits. The NFL doesn't give a damn if you're at the Oregon system. You got to have the
That's
trait to be in the NFL.
Where's Joe Milton going? He was in a lovely QB system. Where's he
Yeah.
going? Nowhere.
Very true. Very true. So I will tell, man. Like I said, I think things are gonna be looking different for Dylan Gabriel. He's in a new system, new mindset. Sure, you can talk about his one reason what he's done in the past, but again, he's in a sense to me, Oklahoma going from Oklahoma to Oregon is elevating it.
Okay,
With on the shades.
this isn't the O with SC Romero. You don't have to pimp up your Oregon guys. We are talking about legit NFL assets here. You have him as quarterback too. Okay, give me the rest of your top 5 quarterbacks. I gotta know this list.
Right now, I got for 2025 Shadir, Dylan, Quinn. Beck, Quinn, and then Dart.
What about your overall rankings? Who do you have in your top 5 overall?
I got Nico
for the
at 4.
quarterbacks.
I got Nico at 4. That's the difference. He just bumps down.
He's not eligible.
No, he was just talking overall.
Yeah, I was asking overall.
Oh.
Okay,
Put
so
Nico.
where do you have Dante Moore? Do you have him in the top 10, top 5?
No, Dante Moore drops for me.
Okay.
Hey, where's Drew Aller?
Right behind Wyman.
I'm the
7?
low guy on Drew Aller.
Okay.
I've been saying it since last August that he was a sell. I have him 13 overall. He's my quarterback. He's right behind Quinn Ewers for the 25 class.
Right now, I have like Rayola hit a Moore. I mean, that Moore dropped a lot just going back to the transfer and not being, second fiddle. He's not starting, so
No,
we'll see what
about
happens.
this? Where do you have where's Will Howard and Cade Klubnik ranked for you?
Klubnik dropped 2. Klubnik's below Aular. Howard, who'd you say? Will Howard?
Will Howard.
And then DJU.
I have Howard at. Actually, I have Howard as QB 7, so I actually have Wyman lower. I have Howard as 9 overall. And then who'd you say? Klubnik?
DJU.
Oh, DJU. 21 overall.
I got MJ
So-
Morris at 15. Where do you have him?
MJ Morris is not on my rankings right now. I just have 36 ranked right now.
Wow.
Let me see where I have him. I have
DJU's
MJ Morris. Go ahead, SC.
I'll say I hope DJU balls out, but we'll see. I think Oregon State was just a great system for him, and he has better wide receivers. I feel like at Florida State, so he could go back there and do some work, but we'll find out.
I have MJ Morris at 45. I got DeQuan Finn at 41. I got Thomas Castellanos at 37.
In this class?
No, overall.
Oh, I'm talking
My
about this
overall
class.
ranking. Man, you gotta make me count like that.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what,
we're
hold
talking
on.
this class. We went from Quinn Ewers in this
Man,
class.
I wasn't paying attention. I'm shell shocked about Dylan Gabriel still. Not my fault. Hold on.
All right, let's go talk. Let's go back to these running backs because I want to talk about one of them. Man, he just
hey, DJU 13 overall though for the class.
all right.
All right, are we on to the next
Yes,
statement?
please.
Tell totally forgot where we left off.
Forster,
All
please talk to me
Statement
about
number 3, class of 2025 running back / athlete John Forster, who is outside of the top 20 in his positional group, will end up being a top 15 running back by the 2024 early National Signing Day. Nino, you're up first.
Hell no, bro. Hey, listen, this dude is just straight line. I love the speed. He breaks. He doesn't have any movement to him. There's no juke, nothing. If you look at him, he can run between the tackles because he's only running straight. It might be in a diagonal straight line or right up the middle straight. It's always straight. He ain't trying to get juicy with it. He ain't trying to do anything jiggy like Will Smith. All he's out there is just straight. Follow the white line, baby, like he's drunk driving home after the club. That's what my guy does. Now, he's really good at that, right? He puts up big runs. I'm talking real big runs. But I need to see more than just a one-trick pony. So I'm going to say, nah, he's going to stay out of the top 20.
I say that as well, but then I'm saying, you have a RB22 right now in possible Donovan Johnson from IMG Academy move up there. Guy transferred out from Calvary Day to go IMG Academy, just pristine academy down there in Florida. Has the perfect combination of speed and absorbs the concept really well. He was injured his junior season. Expects to be fully healthy going in this season, so I'm excited to see there. But also, good shout out to another guy, RB28 from Conroe, Texas, and that's going to be Jermichael Green, 3-star prospect, 5'11", about 190 pounds or so. Currently, RB28, the stoppability. He has that cut, man. He stops, but then he goes. He knows what he needs to do with his foot. He knows how to plant correctly and even just adjust. And when the ball's in his hand, this guy's a natural playmaker. So the RB22 and RB28 for me, I think have a better chance of becoming a top 20 running back.
And there's like 3 guys in between like 15 to 30 that haven't even committed yet. So it's like they could very well, depending on landing spot, have a chance to get time this year. So I have to say he's got to stay outside of that.
Statement number 4, class of 2025 running back Jasper Parker will be what people think Trevor Etienne is, and I don't mean his DUI. SC, you're up first.
Man, I think if you mean better runner, then maybe. But like the Etienne with the pass catching, you can't go past it. He's a better dual threat back there. So you want to give him. I brought up in last show, Etienne caught 100% of his passes last season, 21 receptions. That's not a little bit. That's really damn good. And I think they're really going to utilize that pass catching ability for him because of what he can do. He could possibly become that better runner than Etienne. But to be honest, this statement confused me. Like, what do we expect Etienne to be? To his brother, or what's going on? That's where I was with it. But I think Etienne's the better dual threat.
You got me fired up. I'm ready to walk right off this one again, man. I just don't understand when you say stuff like maybe as a runner. What did you watch? Because I watched my guy line up out wide, bro. I watched this dude line up at the slot. I watched this dude straight. For me, my comp for this dude is a baby LT. Like the Damian Tomlinson, the way he runs. You want to talk about a dude that translates to the NFL? It's this dude. Juke, one-handed spin moves, gets low and gets in and out. This guy's got it all.
Wait, you're talking about Parker or Etienne? Etienne, yeah?
I'm talking about no. I'm talking about Parker.
Okay.
Yes, I'm talking about Parker. That's the film I'm talking about. I'm talking about the dude who's going to be. I'm not saying Trevor Etienne isn't going to be him. He's going to be him. But I think Parker is going to be just a little bit better, because he's showing you all aspects right now. We had no idea what Etienne was until all of a sudden in Florida, like, oh, is this Etienne's little brother? Oh, he looks pretty good. We're going to know about Parker beforehand, and this kid's got it. I'm going to send you some links that I watch. I'm not trying to be a dick at all, but this kid is legit. For me to say a baby LT, this kid's got all the juice.
Send them with the JoJo links.
All right.
The reason why I did these two is because people think Trevor Etienne is this great elusive runner who's a great pass catcher. He's so elusive, so fast, can juke people out. So that's what I meant. People think Trevor Etienne is like this certain player. Well, Jasper Parker is what people think Trevor Etienne is.
Yes.
Like if you watch Jasper Parker, that's the exact definition of what people think Trevor Etienne is.
That's
I'm watching this kid juke, get down low like he's like a rollerblader, dude. Like Matrix type shit. Get back up, pop up and go. I'm not even exaggerating. I was like, yo, how did he not touch the ground? This kid has it all. His ankles are made of rubber bands, bro. It's stupid.
That makes sense. Out of all the questions you've asked, that was the one where I was like, what are we thinking Etienne even is? Because I don't think he's some stellar prospect or anything like that, but he's good. But no, that makes sense then.
Statement number 5. South Carolina wide receiving room. Coastal Carolina's Jared Brown will be the wide receiver 1. Nino, you're up first.
I think so. I honestly do. I just don't know if they figured out how to use Nicholas Harbor. Okay. They had so many opportunities last year where they could have used them. And I don't know if Nicholas Harbor didn't catch on, but this kid is dominating in the track and field. So there's got to be a way to get this stupid fast dude on the field that's a freakish athlete. I just don't know if he's ready to take on that wide receiver 1 role. Yes, they've brought in a few guys. And I'm going to be nice because I'm not trying to be a dick. I like Gage Laverdine, but he's nothing special, right? Tyshawn Russell and Amarian Higgs-Bruce are kind of like Jags. And to be honest, they'll be suffice in this system. They'll work for the role that they have. But yeah, I think Jared Brown was the better receiver than Sam Pickney out in Coastal Carolina. He was more consistent, and he was consistently good at either getting deep downfield or just getting into space and making a target. For Grayson McCall, I drew a blank for a second. I think this kid is going to be Lawrence Sells' little handcuff, right? He's going to be the dude that he's going to be right. Where's Brown? Boom, I got it. So I'm in the rest. I'm rolling out. Where's Brown? Because Brown knows how to deviate from the system. Brown knows how to get himself open when the play breaks down. Okay, shit's not going right. I'm going to cut in. I'm going to go find a spot so my guy can see me and get open. So I believe Brown's going to be wide receiver 1 for this team, 100%.
Yeah, I agree. And the only thing I would say is you brought up to Leviathan. I think this guy's a smaller wide receiver with some speed. He plays bigger as well. So if anything, that's the guy I think is the biggest threat. You brought up Harbor. I think that guy we may be seeing him as a tight end. He's just that big. He's just a big frame guy where they may line him up differently. So maybe there as well. But Harbor has all the traits you want to be a wide receiver 1. The thing with the targets may be there for him, but we may see the targets go to Leviathan as well, because I think they'll be able to move him around a lot more, and again, just smaller frame, so people don't really see him as much.
I need to see. I like Gage, but you're going from Miami of Ohio, to the SEC. I got to see it translate. Now, if it translates right off the rip, then we might have a dog in our hands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I got to see, because he was a lot of big play capability. Like, he was a lot of like just get it and go type deals. So we'll have to wait and see. I love Mazio. You know that, Andy. I think Bennett could have an opportunity where they have some, set up plays for him, because he checks a lot of boxes. Not all the boxes, but he could possibly check all those boxes by the end of his, collegiate career. So we'll have to wait and see. But for that fact, I think Brown's the guy.
Yeah.
Bonus statement. Notre Dame does not make the 12-team playoffs in the 2024 college football season. Nino, you're up first.
If Riley Leonard's going to be rolling around on a little cart after having another surgery last week, and he might not be ready for the start of the season, or be a fully percent, I don't know. And I don't know what's going on over there. Okay, like, they have wide receivers, but yet they just think that they can convert every running back to a wide receiver, right? Last year was Tyree. This year it looks like they're going to be doing it with what's the gentleman's name that he's taking reps? Love? Is it Love? Jeremiah Love? I believe he's taking reps.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like G-Brain Payne's probably going to take some reps at running back. May not be the RB1, but that's my guy. I'm hoping he gets in there. But if you look at the schedule and whoever's going to be the quarterback, the beginning looks nice, right? You got A&M, but you're in College Station. If Wegman's healthy, there's a good chance they lose that game, right? NIU, Purdue, Miami of Ohio, those should be dubs. But Louisville, probably going to lose to that. Stanford, probably win that one. Georgia Tech and Navy. Georgia Tech, I think, could beat them. Navy should be a dub for them. Then you got Florida State, Virginia. I think those are losses. Army should be a win, and then USC. Yeah, I don't think they make this playoff. I think they lose at least 3 games. I think they're out. And I'm going to tell you right now, everybody's talking Billy Napier, Mario Cristobal. It's been 3 quarterbacks in 3 years. If Marcus Freeman doesn't make the playoff when they expand it, when he's gone out to get his guys, he might be getting his ass is going to be real hot. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I feel like you're being modest with 3 losses. I have them maybe 4 or 5 losses. I mean, I think you named 6 losses, but you said 3 there. But no, I mean, and that's the beauty really about the 12-team playoff, because I feel if it wasn't, you have Notre Dame in the top 10 position, but now you may have a better undefeated team like your Liberty, maybe, that gets an opportunity, or maybe Georgia Tech that does. I don't think Georgia Tech's going to get in the playoffs, but I think there's more opportunity for them as well. And I just don't see Notre Dame's sense could be exposed. And so, I mean, Riley Leonard goes out there, great. I feel he should have came out this year, but we'll see. I don't necessarily know if this is going to be a great year for them, just because it's going to seem that they're not going to make it. There's going to be a lot of close games, and I don't think they're going to put that extra juice to go out there and win them.
Yeah.
All right, we got a second bonus statement. This one's going to possibly melt the show down here. Shedeur Sanders will regret his dad saying that he won't go to certain cities when he falls into the second round, and the watch he likes to show will tell teams that are on the clock that it's round 2 as he sits in the green room. SC, you're up first for this one.
Yeah, for sure. So there was a recent interview where they talked about where Coach Prime, they asked him, where do you see Shedeur and Travis Hunter going? He said top 4. I don't know if both go in the top 4. We'll see. But I think Shedeur has a lot of chance, man. They revamped that line for him. His biggest issue last year was him getting sacked. He's not necessarily a mobile quarterback. He's not escaping that pressure. 56, I have it right here. Hold on. 52 sacks last season. This guy didn't have the line, and the games that they were in, the defense ended up losing as well. He's a valued quarterback, 68.7% completion for his career, over 10,000 yards passing in his first 3 seasons. He doesn't make those turnovers. That he has less than 10 interceptions in each of his first 3 seasons as well. He's going through and doing work. I think Shedeur, they built the system around him. Coach Prime knew, hey, I need to protect this guy, and they're going to make sure his strength is actually utilized. Will he regret saying no? I mean, I think that's with every dad. Like, no offense to the dads, I'm not a father myself, so it could be different. But you gotta let your kid make the decision when it comes down to it. You can't be the one saying he's not going here. Are you the one playing? Nah, it's your kid. So in that sense, if we have Coach Prime become Lamar Ball type of dad and do some stupid shit and just talk all that, then yeah, I think he regrets it right now, because it paints a bad picture on you right now. Like, you're not even in the NFL, and yet you're already saying you're not going to go to certain teams. Bro, you got to go out there and ball, which he has done, but now we need to see it again, and the Big 12 could be theirs for the taking. He's not dropping to the second. I don't think he's dropping to the second. That answer that too.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of loaded stats for Shedeur Sanders. Okay, a lot of loaded stats. A lot of games, he kind of disappeared until it was, we got to battle back and put up points. And that was down the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? You look on the last 6 games, they were losing a lot of those games, and then he had to come back. When you have to throw the ball on an average of 40 times a game, it takes a toll on you, right? I'll admit that. SC, we're talking NFL, right? I don't want to hear any Jackson State horse shit. That shit don't count worth a damn. I'm not trying to knock HBCU, but I could probably count as many on my hands that have played at quarterback in the NFL from an HBCU, right? Like, those numbers don't matter. The 3 interceptions this year, that sticks out to me. The kids can process them, right? But now, we're not playing in the Pac-12 no more, baby. Now you're playing against big boys. I want to see what he does against Big 12 defenses. I want to see what he does against, legit linebackers and safeties that can just key in your eyes. I want to see now with a loaded room and the offensive line in front that is made to protect you. I want to see if you're him. I want to see it. I need to see. I got 1 year of it. All right. And then everything. I got more of his dad and Travis Hunter's hype, talked about in the media than I got to see of really Shedeur Sanders balling out. He had almost 400 yards on the ground. So, he's not going to take off on you for 100 yards, a game, but he's mobile enough to keep it going. I don't know if he'll fall to the second round right now. Right now, I think he's kind of like somewhere between 16 and 28. You know what I mean? Depending on the hype. You know how it is. Anthony Richardson went in the first round. So as a natural quarterback, I think Shador is way better. Okay, but as an athlete, you obviously have to give it to Anthony Richardson. It's just real hard. I think a lot of it has to do with his name. You know, a lot of the reason why I talk about Marvin Harrison the way I do right now. It's really difficult. It'll be the answer will be very clear within the first quarter of the season. I'll tell you that.
Here's my thing with Shador, and SC, if you want to do a reply to this, you can. I think Shador was a byproduct of Sean Lewis. Sean Lewis got demoted after week 8, and so here are the stats with and without Sean Lewis. With Sean Lewis, 71% completion. Without, 61% completion. With Sean Lewis, 345 passing yards per game. Without, 202 passing yards. Shador has 6 passing touchdowns the final 4 games. I know PFF grades are kind of a joke, but if you want to take a look at them, with Sean Lewis, 80.9, without 57.6. If you look at the metrics, he got worse in every category without Sean Lewis, including the eyeball test. Pat Shurmur is a horrible offensive coordinator. Primetime Dion, he's trusting his kid with Pat Shurmur. I don't like that for Shador. I don't think he goes in the first round. I think he's going to have a decent year, but my issue with him is he's a liability in the pocket. He's not this mobile quarterback that people want him to be or think that he is. He is a liability in that. The guy takes
stuff.
Yeah, the guy takes way too many sacks. With him, he either gets the ball out in 0.75 seconds or he holds on to the ball until he gets sacked. There's no in between. And what I see with him is what I kind of see in Cam Ward. He doesn't trust his eyes when he's reading defenses down the field and throwing it down the middle in between like the 15 to 25 yard line. That's my issue with him. He's very comfortable throwing behind the line of scrimmage in a short area up to 10 yards. He's very comfortable doing that. That's what Sean Lewis had him doing. Sean Lewis had him ready to win, to be that guy. With Pat Shurmur there's a huge question mark that I have with Shador.
Pat Shurmur's a running OC. He likes to pound the ball more than he would air it out. And I love that you mentioned with Sean Lewis and without, because I wrote down in my notes, down the stretch, he had 1 game without Sean Lewis over 250 yards. And that was against Stanford. I think one of us could probably throw for 400 yards against Stanford last year. They were that bad. There was 217 against UCLA, whose defense was absolute trash, right? Then it was 245, 262, and then 86 because he got hurt. Like, those numbers aren't good at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, you hit on the money too with the mobility. I think that's the biggest issue with this, and that's why they went out there and built up that line, right? They lost Bedford. He ended up committing to Oregon instead, but they still built up. That was the when the transfer portal opened, what was the first signings they did? They got a whole new offensive line. I think it was 5, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it?
5 with the 2 freshmen.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. So they made sure they went out and got that protection for that reason of him not being mobile. He's a quarterback. If you get that protection around him, we could see some exponential things come out of him. But again, I agree. He does hold the ball too long, and we saw that with 52 sacks. I mean, he had negative yardage too. When it came to it, because he got sacked so many times. That was the offensive line and the defense were the 2 biggest problems on that team, because the defense lost a lot of things too. When Under wasn't there, or was it Shiloh? They didn't really have a lot there. And now you have Shador coming out again. This whole next season is built around him. I mean, I know Prime knows it too, where there was like, oh, what are we gonna do in the Big 12? But let's be real. I didn't have them beating Oregon. I didn't have them beating USC or who else? Washington. You had a lot of schools in Oregon. I think they could possibly go out there and run the Big 12.
They beat TCU and Nebraska on a rebuild Walmart team. Matt Rule's first year. Matt Rule's first year in any program, he's absolutely garbage. He barely wins 3 games. And then they faced TCU, who had been bare bones. They were barer than a mannequin. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't anything special, but they beat TCU have been in a national championship, so we're going to give them everything. Coach Prime got it done. Nebraska, they were figuring out how to put themselves in a 3-point standstill. You know what I'm saying? They went to beat Nebraska. And then what? They had to go to double overtime against Colorado State. That was it for me. That's when I knew they weren't legit. Because defense and no defense, it's Colorado State. Shedeur should have been able to throw them out of the freaking stadium, and he had to go blow for blow with, a freshman quarterback? Come on.
That was a big game, though, too. I think that showed difference on his decision making and just going through that and going into double overtime, because that's like, okay, can you take this pressure? Sure, you could say it was Colorado State. You have in-state rivals, that plays a big factor too, though. No,
we're talking about Mountain West competition. I know all about Mountain West. I'm a Utah State fan, so I know reality. Colorado State, that defense has maybe 2 guys that ends up going to the NFL as undrafted free agent depth pieces. And we're talking about Colorado State, and Shedeur had to be him against Colorado State, had to go to double overtime, had to drive 90-something yards in regulation to tie it up. If you're Colorado, if you're that good, if Shedeur is him, if Travis Hunter is all this and that, if Coach Prime is all this and that, they should have needed 6 quarters. They should have needed that. They should have blown out Colorado State by halftime, let all the guys rest, and then Prime could have been the center of attention. But it wasn't that, because Colorado is not a good football team. They don't have anyone good. All they care about are stats. All they care about is getting wide receivers. All Colorado cares about is getting Shedeur Sanders stats to go to the NFL. But in reality, Shedeur Sanders doesn't have the talent to be a top 5 pick. He doesn't have the talent to be a top 10 pick. He isn't a guy that should be demanding what teams, what cities he doesn't want to go to. He isn't Eli Manning. He won't be a Hall of Famer. He doesn't have the right to say what team he wants to go to and what team he doesn't want to go to.
Get him.
He has all 2024 to prove everyone wrong and to be the guy to show the watch. But at the end of the day, he is going to be in that green room, and they're going to show all these clips about him, doing the little watch thing. He's going to be sitting in that green room in the second round. Those are 5 statements, pretty much. Those are 5 statements. Now we're going to bring you some NFL rookies to think about. And the first one, SC's coming hot. We're talking about a guy that I've wanted to talk about for a while. So this is going to continue to get spicy. SC, who's the rookie that you want to think about and the guy that can't get open and he had to transfer down to finally be able to compete?
Yeah, so great introduction. Appreciate you bringing it in. UCF wide receiver Javon Baker. This guy needs to improve his route tree. He needs to, you just mentioned, gain that separation and everything. I think what people are fascinated about him is his hands, his ability to just come down with the ball. He does have great hands. He does have great foot awareness of where he needs to be in bounds. Overall, as an early stage, I was super impressed with him, with what he does with the catch, what he can do. The difference is, though, he's not gaining any separation at all. He's relying too much on his strength, on his hands to pull it down and bring everything. He's not doing much what you want after the catch. The thing was, he was a field stretcher. Down the stretch, he had only 2 games without a 40-yard pass or more. So he continued to showcase that. But again, he wasn't necessarily beating the guys down the field. He was just grabbing it when they're right behind him as well. And he's just doing that precision with his catches. He has a lot of things. He has to improve a lot. But I do like what I see when you look at what he can do with the ball when it's in the air, making that ball control.
So you like a guy that's really good at catching the ball with, say, one hand and making stupid catches, right? Well, Isaiah Alsford from Army, he makes dumb catches with one hand too. Would you be putting him in the top 15 wide receiver in the class? Because I just heard you say a lot of net doesn't have this, doesn't have that, needs to work on this, needs to work on. I heard a lot more negatives than I heard positives. Why is there so much hype?
He's my wide receiver 16 right now. And I think, like you said, some people do watch that, right? They do watch what he's doing, that spectacular catch. You think about Ricky Pearsall. He's flying up some boards right now because of his
he runs routes.
Catch. Yeah. No, I'm just saying, but people fell in love when they saw that catch, that one-handed catch, right? That's when they started getting him on some radars and everything. So now you see a guy like Javon Baker. He does have those hands and those abilities. But for me, when you break it down, yeah, he's someone that at the next level, he's going to need to do some precision with the route tree and improve that route tree of his.
Okay, but hang on. You brought up Pretty Ricky. With him, yeah, he has all these flashy plays, but he's got tape, analytics, and everything that you want to back it up and reason why he is so good and why he is going to rise. Javon Baker doesn't have that.
Yeah.
What I see with Javon Baker is a very confusing player. He does have that big, 17-yard A-dot deep threat kind of a receiver. But in the NFL, he doesn't project to be that. He projects to be more of that possession kind of receiver. And I don't see that working. I question him being anything more than a death piece. Nino, you were there at the Senior Bowl. Did he impress you during practice week?
He didn't practice. It didn't impress me. I don't want to like knock the kid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So he didn't impress me with getting off the line. You know what I mean? Like his physical, he was somewhat physical, but not like he wasn't beating guys off the rip. He did have some good, body control catches down the, down the sideline and stuff. But like, it wasn't like, the stadium wasn't going crazy. He wasn't making those type of spectacular catches. He rose his stock a little bit because he was able to, if the ball was, he has a decent catch radius. I'll say that because of his athleticism. So that's something like he makes throws that are kind of not good throws, look like catchable balls. I will give him that. So that kind of gets discredited in his aspect. You know what I mean? Because it's like, just a natural catch for him. Well, not necessarily. Like the guy kind of threw the ball behind him. You know what I mean? He adjusted to it. So he has that adjustment to him. I don't see his game translating to be an alpha in the NFL. And I have a funny feeling that he needs a sidekick. He did well with Kobe Hudson being there as his little partner in crime, right? So it's like it wasn't just all him. So I want to see what happens. He'll be a good 2, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think he's an alpha at all.
When I was watching his tape, the comp that came out to me was Chris Matthews, the wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks. He had that one good game in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. He's kind of in that same vein where he's a good athlete, good jumper, high points the ball, good hands. But overall, when a defense has tape on him, I think they'll be able to contain him. And friend of the show, Michael Anthony, he did an interview with him at the Senior Bowl. And Javon Baker says, 50-50 balls or 100-0 me. When I pull up the stats, it's more 50-50. Yeah. So I just don't see what aspect of his game translates to the next level.
Yeah, that's fair. I think he could be someone you bring in on maybe a third down because he's going to catch that first down pass just to get over the line or something like that. Because like you said, that catch radius, he has reliable hands. It's everything else that you need to watch out for. But at the end of the day, I think he's a day 3 pick. He's going around 5, round 6.
Hey, listen, he falls in like a San Francisco, right? This guy could be a piece, and I'm not talking about just coming in on third down. For him, I think it's more of a landing spot. He gets a good landing spot. Buffalo being a 3 over there in Buffalo, but you could be a very productive 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to matter on a place where he can got a quarterback that can zip the ball, but with a very strong arm. And can make throws off platform, and he will excel over there. I'm not talking about 800 yards, all right, and like 65 receptions. But in his first year, he could probably get somewhere between 25, 28 receptions. Probably gain himself like 400 yards because he'll get some of those deeper plays and maybe get in the end zone a couple times. I don't think that would be a bad year for him.
I mean, you think about too for fantasy perspective, you got to start him on the right week when it's there. But also, you talk about landing spot. I mean, most of your day 3 guys, it does come down to a landing spot opportunity. So,
agreed.
It comes with that. I mean, Jawan Jennings had a couple games where he had over 80 yards and a touchdown and something like that. So,
Jawan Jennings is the glue to that core of the wide receivers in the 49ers. They just started to figure it out.
Nino, who's your NFL rookie that you want to talk about?
Like I said before, some guys got an absolute travesty. They didn't get a combine invite. Blake Watson was one of them. We saw what he did today in his pro day and sleeping on him, 4.3 speed, right? I think he had 41-inch vert. Stupid. I'm going to go with a guy out of Southern Illinois. And I haven't watched this kid for 2 years. And he just keeps constantly getting better. In PJ Jules. All right, this kid's a safety. 111 tackles last year. 111 out of safety, right? 50 of them were solo. But he had 13 tackles for loss while putting in 2 sacks and 11 pass defenses. This kid can play all over the field. He's absolutely insane. He can play the nickel. He can play in the box. He can play free safety. He can play strong safety. He can do whatever you want. He probably put on a couple pounds in the NFL. You might even be able to put him in that hybrid, like Isaiah Simmons role, right? Because he's got that type of dog in him. You're not paying attention. You're getting up off the field, looking out of the side of your helmet and your ear hole because he comes in, he hits like a train. At the end of a draft, this kid's going drafted, right? In the 6th or 7th round, you're going to hear PJ Jules' name and go, Southern Illinois Sukis? Who are these guys? But his game will translate. You're going to hear it in camp battles. This kid, PJ Jules, is just balling out. He says it all the time. I follow him on Twitter. All he needs is a shot. You give this kid a shot, and you're going to get a dog. He's a dog, and I think he's going to excel at the next level.
Vocal leader, All-American, knows how to close on the ball, plays with physicality, and just goes after it. The one thing I will say is I feel he needs to work on his hands when he's with the wide receivers. Like I feel the refs in the NFL, they're gonna call that pass interference a lot. I feel past the 5 yards, he's still a little bit more too touchy. He makes the play on the ball, don't get it wrong, but it's like just watch that when you're going at that next level because you see them sometimes a light tap off becomes that pass interference. So just be more aware, be smarter about your plays once you're down the field against these wide receivers. Yeah, be physical, but be aware of what you're doing to not get that ref throw that flag on you. But everything else looks well on him.
I think at the next level, he'll play more of like a Kyle Duggar, Quadri Diggs type role. Just like that guy that's blow you up in the middle of the field, right? You ain't looking for it. He's going to play down in the box, get in there, stop the run, blow up those screens. That's going to be that type of, like a Witherspoon type guy. Witherspoon's better in coverage, don't get me wrong, but that's the style of play I think PJ Jules can. And it's going to be a bargain. Like you've seen guys, Patriots, it's easy for me because Patriots happen to draft guys like this all the time. But you see guys from these small schools, right? FCS schools that, especially defensively, that just get drafted late or UDFA and they get an opportunity in camp and all of a sudden like, oh, this kid's better than what we got.
Are we looking at maybe round 6?
Yeah, that's what I think. Beginning of round 6, somewhere around there. For some reason, he slips. I think he gets drafted in round 7, but I think he gets drafted.
That's because they scout the helmet though and not the player.
Exactly.
And those are some rookies to think about. Now, rookie values, they fluctuate daily, and that leads us into our next segment, the stock exchange. Nino, who's your guy?
All right. So talk about the Senior Bowl, right? We're going to talk about a guy, Luke McCaffrey, who went there, and he balled out at the Senior Bowl. Yeah, he didn't do certain things that do right, but he was one of the fastest guys out there. He was the guy making some of the most contested catches. And you think about, well, he's gone. He's going to the NFL. So who's going to be someone that could kind of fill in that role when there's so many questions? And I'm going to go with the wide receiver, Kobe Campbell, right? Now, I like this kid because he was a running back converted to wide receiver. Okay, now the numbers aren't crazy. They don't jump off the screen to you. He had 11 receptions for 160 yards and a touchdown. But he averaged back-to-back years in the small amount that he had, over 10 yards per catch. So he's a guy that you're going to target. You think, 10 yards per catch. This guy's, someone they target downfield. Nah, his ADOT was less than, 7. This is a dude that gets the ball and gets work. Okay. So when they're trying to figure out who's going to be the guy in this wide receiver room, who's the identity, who's the go-to guy we go to, a guy that's now learned from Luke, right? Gained all that, those years behind in the playbook. Now it's his time to shine. And again, another guy that in spring already is cooking. They're showing him in the highlights. They're showing this guy making these catches, beating guys off the line real quick. I have a funny feeling you're going to be Kobe Campbell's name as the dude out on Rice that stepped up, and you're going to back-to-back years. You might have these guys, wide receivers out of Rice, getting some buzz.
I love the Texas guys, man. Mo Shitty Don, shout out. He's from Missouri City, Texas. Balled out. He's a great athlete. He was at Hightower, again, a rival high school of mine, so I know the program pretty well. They produced some great talent there. This kid, it was the game against Houston, I think, where he did an end around. Yeah. Where he did the end around, and it just became boom. He's gone. Clocked in at like 20 miles per hour. Great guy. most of your athletes out of Texas, I'm aware about. And this kid's been on the radar for some time, so it's exciting to see what he can do because this is his year. Go get it, kid.
That's stock up for Kobe Campbell, wide receiver out of Rice. SC, who's your guy?
Man, I hate to say this one. Yeah, I know we talked about the Ohio State wide receiver room before, but we've this guy, his stock's going down for me. You have Emeka Ibuka still going there. Carnell Tate, I think, is going to be someone that's going to be there. But then, I mean, the more I watch Jeremiah Smith, I mean, this guy is like the chosen one, right? This guy looks great. And I don't think he's going to go to Ohio State to sit behind anyone. Granted, maybe, because that's how Heartline does his things, right? He may have someone sit. But the odd man out right now seems like Brandon Inniss. I had this guy ahead of Carnell Tate prior to. Carnell Tate came out and did his thing and did more so at Ohio State than Ennis did last season. So for me, unfortunately, it's the stock down. Am I buying him? Sure, because it's Ohio State, and why not? If he's in that room, he's in that room, right? All you need is something to happen for you to get the opportunity. But he is a stock down moving forward because I think the wide receiver room to me right now is Ibuka, Jeremiah Smith, and Carnell Tate.
So right now the stock's down, but by April 15th, the stock will be up, my friend, because he'll be on a different team. The problem is with Brandon is the talent is there. He's in a loaded wide receiver room. But where he came from in high school and where the state that he's from, they didn't allow him to get an early enroll at Ohio State last year. So he was stuck behind the 8 ball to begin with, right? He has more talent and had a bigger buzz than Tate coming in. Mm-hmm. But Tate got manufactured touches. They were manufacturing touches for Carnell Tate in a loaded wide receiver room. You're not going to just say, hey, buddy, now you can take a back seat. 2019, Garrett Wilson is the last freshman wide receiver to lose a black stripe in 4 practices or less. Jeremiah Smith is not taking a back seat to a goddamn wide receiver in that room. If they want him on the field, he's on the field. They're calling him Julio Jones. Denzel Burke has already said he's the next great wide receiver out of Ohio State. You got Devin Brown saying he's a freak athlete. Everybody's in awe. And they said that when he makes a mistake, it's like a veteran because he fixes it within the next 2 or 3 sets, which is insane. I'm sorry. He has all the talent in the world. His best bet is to hit that pole and go play somewhere where you could be a 1 somewhere else.
Well, that's what John Blank helped me. Kid at Nebraska. Ended up doing. Coleman? No, I'm not thinking. Is it Nebraska? They had 3 wide receivers last year, and I'm drawing a blank, but one ended up leaving. I think it was to Nebraska.
Oh, the forest, the coldest. Yeah.
No,
right?
1 second. But then you also have Mylan Williams there too. I mean, I think
LSU, Jalen Brown.
No, hold on. I'm pulling it up right now. Rogers. He ended up transferring out.
Noah Rogers.
Noah Rogers. And I think that's pure why, right? Because those 3, when you had Ennis, Carnell Tate, and Rogers, it's like these are the next 3 after your guys left, right? And now it's like, nah, he is like, I'm not taking that back seat. Hope he does, because stock rises up. But for the case of this show, stock's down on him, so go buy him. Because he, like you just mentioned, that talent's there. It's just, unfortunately, in some situations, you have a talented, pure beast of an athlete. But that's not just him. You have that in your entire organization, and he happens to be in that landfall where it's like, you're good, bro, but these other guys are good too. It's not like you're the best one here. So
when Elon Musk says something like, "Hey, Bitcoin," the stock goes up, right? Anywhere Chip Kelly goes, wide receiver stock goes down, bro. I'm sorry, because he wants to run the ball, and you got 2 monsters back there. There's only so many wide receivers that get in the rock. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and then you also have Mylan Graham who's there, and he's a true freshman, so he's another piece that's going to get lost. But so that was a great episode, guys. SC, where can people find your work?
Yes, sir. So at the PPR show on X, go ahead and give me a follow. Got Devi IDP content, Fantasy Football Universe. We got a lot of rookie stuff going on there. Check it out. I have a huge Devi project coming on for there as well. Got my show, The O, CFB Nation, coming out every Tuesday. Next episode, we're talking about some freshmen that are coming in. So that's exciting. PPR show every other Tuesday outside the O, and then Future Phenoms. You know what it is. If you're not tuned in on Future Phenoms every week, then your wife better be cooking some good dinner.
And Dylan Gabriel's QB2 somehow. Nino,
hey, that's a great topic for next episode.
Listen, I'm going to take this time to not talk about myself. I'm going to take this time to talk about my two co-hosts, okay? I want to say, like, these two gentlemen grind their asses off, okay? Multiple shows, multiple articles. They're always doing stuff. SC Romero is one of the top guys in the IDP community. I could pull up a guy from coming in to high school. He probably got some film and saw something about him. Forget about it if it's a Texas guy. He heard him coming out the womb that he's going to be a dude. So this kid, he's nonstop. The grind is always there. I don't understand how Andy can write as many articles, thorough, informative pieces that keep you in tune as he does. It blows my mind. Okay. And I love the little conversations that we have in the DMs about prospects and talent coming in. There's not a better up and coming football mind in this community than Andy Pham. Both of you gentlemen, I give you my kudos. It's a pleasure to be with you guys every week.
Hey, bro, don't undersell yourself too. You know, you talk about IDP and you talk about Devi prospects, you know it too. So I appreciate those words, but you as well, man. You know, you and Andy come to Devi prospects second to none. Andy, you know, Devi Digest, we talk about it. Make sure you're following that. That's a huge project in itself. But nah, man, I mean, talking Devi, no one I'd rather do it with. Y'all guys are great.
I appreciate both of you guys. You guys do great work, and you guys are what make this show fun. This is like the show that's like the most fun for me every week, so I do love it. Yeah, everyone on X or Twitter, follow SC at the PPR show. Follow Nino at __ Nino Brown __. We'll be back next week, but before we go, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, comment, subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, give us a rate and review, and we'll see you next time on Future Phenoms.